What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all having a great day. We are here at Mr. Powdercoat to pick up the parts that we dropped off in the last video, and we are also dropping off some more parts that I've powder coated before I leave for my vacation. So with that being said, let's go inside and see how the parts came out.
Morning.
So this is Ray. He's the guy, owner and operator of Mr. Powdercoat. He's the one that powder coated my parts. As you can see here, this is the boost tube. It's hard to tell in this lighting, but the sparkle on this is killer. And then you got that heater grid delete and the clamps here. And the intake I put in the truck. I'll show you guys that later when we get home and get it installed. But I just wanted to kind of let him talk about his process on powder coating my parts here and just what he does.
When this was brought in, it just had a basic primer coat from the factory. We did a quick blast on it, get a little bit coated up, roughness, so we get a good coat on it. Mask the ends off, make sure we don't get nothing inside your intakes. And then hang that up, get it heated and coated with the intake color. As you can tell, a few of these other parts took a little bit more to get with masking. Make sure we don't get it in any of your areas that you don't need it. And then even with these guys here.
I mean, look at the job he did on these, just down to the springs and not getting any powder coat onto the threads there.
Left enough room that we know that we're going to have threads so you can clamp that up nice and tight. But when everything's together, it doesn't look like anything's been done to it.
Because before these were silver chrome stainless steel and they just didn't look good, so we had him powder coat those black as well. But honestly, guys, he did a phenomenal job. I'll show you some better lighting later. So he's got all those racks right here, heater right there, area where he sprays, sandblasting booth, and then his powder coating gun and everything's right there.
Trying to get all the corners well coated while it's hot. Then we'll let it cool down a little bit and I can put a dust coat over the whole thing.
So you spray down like this first just to get all the corners?
Yeah, because in the tighter areas like that, if you're trying to blow in when it's cold, the air pressure from the gun will start to blow that powder away. Even though it's a magnetic charge, you still got enough air pressure coming through the gun that it'll blow it out of the corners and you'll end up with light spots. So you try and get in those little corners like that when it's hot. That way, you know, you get some powder down in there, so then when you come back over and it cools down a little bit, you can get a dust coat over it.
So as you guys just saw, he just powder coated that bracket for some commercial building, this metallic-y black. Now he's gonna put it in the oven for, he said, about 20 minutes at 400 degrees, and then he'll pull it out, let it cool off, and that part will be good to go. I really appreciate the work you did here.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely be back for more. We already dropped some more parts off down there, which you guys will see in the next video, and we're having some more parts shipped to you while I'm gone. So I look forward to that and doing more business with you.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you. You have a good day.
You too.
I'll see you next time.
All right.
Huge shout out to Mr. Powdercoat. If you guys are in the area, make sure to check him out if you need anything powder coated. Very reasonable pricing and it is high quality work. I'll give you a better look under the light when we get back home. But also wanted to say thank you to him for showing us his process on how he powder coats the parts, because everyone does everything differently. I mean, there's 10 ways to build a fence. Everyone's gonna say this way's right, this way's wrong, but everyone has their own way. So it was cool to see his way of powder coating the parts. He went through and sprayed the corners and then goes back and sprays the whole part to ensure that he doesn't miss any of the corners, because he said they're hard to get to. So I just want to say a huge thank you to Mr. Powdercoat. If you guys are in the area, make sure to check him out. Great pricing, great quality work. Now let's get home and get these parts on the truck. Got the intake horn out and the boot off the boost tube. The next step's going to be to loosen up the top clamp off the boot at the bottom of the boost tube, but unfortunately instead of facing down so I can go under the truck and take it out, this one's facing up towards us. So I got to figure out how to move this tube out of the way and all these wires so I can get down there to that nut to loosen it out to get this boost tube out. So that's our next step, is removing the boost tube. So I got that boost tube out of the boot down there, and I took the heater grid off, and as you can see there is a little bit of stuff in there. Well, it's kind of hard to see with the light, but there's like some flakes of stuff that fell off, and you can see some stuff around the side of the valve cover here. But I'm going to go ahead and take the vacuum, just vacuum all it up, and then take a nice clean rag and put it in that hole while we get everything set up to put the new one in. So I just got everything removed from the truck that needs to be taken out to install the new intake and boost tube. So now I'm going to show you the old parts versus the new parts. You got your old hardware here and all your new hardware here with thread lock. Your old boot that goes from the intake horn to the boost tube. Your new boot. The heater grid delete, powder coated of course. Your old boost tube, your new boost tube. The old tube is a 3-inch diameter tube, and the new one's a 3.5. The bottom that goes into the old boot is still going to be a 3, but going up it's going to go to 3.5. You can see the 3.5 to 3-inch coupler piece they put on right, they welded on right there. Your old clamps, your new clamps, powder coated of course, very nicely, as we saw at the powder coated when we picked them up. Your old gasket and the other gaskets on top of here still, as you can see there. Surprised neither of these broke. I'm surprised about that. Your new gaskets. Old intake that I used this spray on that you put in the oven. It's kind of like powder coat, I guess you could call it. It's like a high temp spray paint. And the new intake. And I gotta say, I'm impressed by the powder coat job. Just the way it looks. It came out phenomenal in my opinion. I am so excited to get this thing on the truck. It looks killer. I just wanted to get it powder coated because I could not stand that ugly red color. Everyone puts them on their truck red. They don't get them powder coated. I mean, a couple people do, but for the most part, most people don't get them powder coated. They just put them on red. And with a blue truck, it would just look ugly under here with everything else. Especially since I'm trying to get more parts powder coated, like the valve cover and some other parts, but I'm not going to give all that away yet. But definitely doing some more powder under the hood and a lot more parts on the truck. So I'm super excited to get this on the truck. So our next step is going to be installing the new boost tube. So we're going to go ahead and take the new boost tube here, and this end with a 3-inch with a coupler on it, it's going to go down to the old boot, and then this new 3.5-inch side here will go into the new intake horn. And really quickly, I just wanted to show you what the boost tube looked like under light, because it is going to be hidden unfortunately, but I had him do this black powder coat with a sparkle metallic on it. It's got a little flake in it. And oh, it looks so good. Look at that. Oh my God. Holy flake. Yeah, that's flaky, boys. Alright, let's get it on the truck. put some thread lock on the threads here. So you're gonna have two short ones and two long ones. The short ones are gonna go closer to the valve cover, and the longer ones are gonna go opposite of the valve cover. So your shorter threads are gonna go down, and the longer side of the threads will stick up. I just got them hand tight. Now I'm gonna take these two 5/16 hex nuts. They're not the lock nut with nylon on them. They're just regular hex nuts. You're gonna spin them both on there. And I'm gonna use 2 1/2-inch wrenches to tighten them up to 3 to 5 foot-pounds of torque. And then we'll move on to the next step. Next, we're going to take the gasket and slide it over the studs here. Then we're going to take our heater grid delete and slide that over the studs as well. Then our next gasket's going to go on. Next, we're going to take our boot and one of the new clamps, and we're going to install it on the boost tube. Now I'm going to take the new intake elbow and slide it over the studs and into the boot on the boost tube, and try not to scratch it on the oil dipstick here. Next, we're going to take one of these Stato steel washers, and you're going to put it on the driver's side longer studs. When you put it on, you want to screw it on, that way you don't tear out that little rubber piece in the middle. And then after that, flat washer, 5/16 flat washer is going to go on all the studs, and then your 5/16 nylon locking washer will go on top of all the studs. Next, we're going to take the little screw-in plugs. They come with a little tool to screw them in, but I can't seem to find mine, so it's just the 3/16 Allen wrench. We're going to plug all these up. There's 2 on the front here, there's 2 on the top here, and there's 4 on the back. Got 4 plugs on the back, 3 on this side, and there's a 4th one right over there. And then the 2 on the top you guys already saw me put in. Right here, I got all 4 of the nuts tightened down on the studs. All the boost tube clamps, top and the bottom one, tightened down. Now I just got to hook up both the batteries back up, because you got to undo them for the heater core, because it has the power going to it to heat it up. And then you got these old wires here for the heater grid. I'm going to end up electrical taping these off for now, or then talking to a couple people on what they recommend doing with those wires. I'm probably going to end up disconnecting them completely. Say they run over to a cable that connects up to the battery, so I probably end up just taking it out completely since I deleted the heater grid, obviously. So now I just got to hook up the batteries, and then we'll go ahead and start this up, make sure there's no leaks, and then that'll be it. And then one thing I wanted to go over with the dipstick, as you guys saw, I used the file to make the hole a little bit bigger, because on a 2001, it won't line up properly without you pushing it back and kinking up the dipstick. So they gave you this bracket to move it over, but I didn't want to use the bracket because 1, it's not powder coated, and 2, I didn't want it all the way over here. It looked goofy to me, so I just used the file, made the hole a little bit bigger. That way I could line it up and drop the nut in there without using this ugly bracket to move it over. So just a little tip if you guys have a 2001 and you don't want to use the bracket like I didn't. that's going to be a wrap on today's video. If you guys enjoyed this video or it helped you out, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed already, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And also, if you're in the area, make sure to check out Mr. Powdercoat. He does very quality work, as you guys saw. Great pricing, and the turnover rate is very fast compared to other places that I called around. He was about half the price and about half the time to get the parts back to me. I'm super excited to get the rest of the parts back from him when I get back from vacation. And also, make sure to tune in to the next video, because the most expensive mod I've ever bought is here, guys, and it's going on the truck. I'm super excited, so make sure to tune in, so you guys aren't going to want to miss it. See you next time.